Well, hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Gary Gonzo, and welcome to P1's broadcasting coverage of Round 8, Week 8 of Season 1 of 2025 at an INDYCAR Open Series Monday Night Top Split, coming to you from the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. And we're at the infamous Watkins Glen International Raceway, where the bus stop is closed today. We're going to see some big laps put up where everyone else is. Also, we're going to include the boot. So these are big laps with the boot. This is going to be interesting and fun to watch. Mark Murphy is not with us today as he's on account this week, on account of him enjoying the sun and fun in the Bahamas. So I get to join Clindy this week, which isn't such a bad thing. Clindy, good to be here with you yet again after a weekend of doing VOR races at the Milwaukee Mile. We are here on the twisty, turny roads of Watkins Glen, 3.37 mile, 11 turn road course. 35 laps tonight, no fast repairs, no tire limits. It's full send for everybody here.
Yes, it will be, and many people may think that this is a dynamic, typical road course with lefts and rights. I like to think that this is actually 3 ovals in a trench coat. Chop up the track map, you have 3 full oval race courses. Most of them are right-hand turn ovals. There's only 2 or 3 very technical left-hand turns on this circuit at all. So look for the drivers that are typically very good on ovals, like Robert Malechka III, like Adam Blocker, to be faster here than they would be at typical road courses. I really do think this is the high-banked super speedway oval of the road courses in the service.
I don't think you're wrong at all. I do remember when this used to show up on the Indy Fixed, which used to be the old oval schedule. A lot of people would do a lot of farming here to help those road course numbers. So we shall see. We are currently 3 minutes, 47 seconds left to play here in qualifying. Current conditions, we'll get that off your screen momentarily. I don't think conditions are going to be a single problem for everybody today. 66 degrees ambient, 68 degrees track temperature, 11 degrees wind coming, 11 mile per hour to wind coming out of the south. But other than that, I don't think really these conditions are going to be too challenging for these drivers. Alan Berteau at the top of the charts. We'll get into actual times here.
Something interesting to note, it looks like Robert Malechka III is running his qualifying laps on the primary tire, not on the red alternate.
That is correct. That is what the white triangle next to his name means. Now, Nick Sudik. Big Nick going to the top, P2, 122.5. Berteau with the 122.1. He is by far and away the fastest up at the top right now by 4 tenths, excuse me. If I could do math, math is hard. Malechka third. Fluginger is in fourth. Brashear fifth. Taylor sixth. Miller, who didn't want to make today's split. He was afraid of going against the big guns. I think you can hold up today, Alexander. Heck, you got to win in the VOR series. You proved yourself, but you're 7th. Craig is 8th. Hayward 9th. Miss Excitement clocking in with a pretty good time there. And Ahmad in 10th with 2 minutes, 15 seconds left to play here.
Kevin Borrell is taking to the track. He thought that the pole would be a 22.1, which is what Berteau put down. Let's see if he can better or best that time. Nathan Moore to the top of the board with a 22 flat.
And we can get you the track map in here, something I don't do an awful lot for this configuration. There you go. We'll blow it up for you. No bus stop. The bus stop is closed today. Kevin Burrell, purple, 140, or actually a 121.8 with a 147.5 as the speed translation. Minute left here in qualifying. Thanks for everybody for joining us tonight. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not done so already. I was watching the last time the Indy cars were here, and they were using the bus stop chicane. So all the times I have for IndyCar really don't matter at all, because they're going to get blown out of the water with what these guys and gals are doing here today. But the career wins leaders here at Watkins Glen, to be nobody's surprise, is Scott Dixon with 4, including 3 in a row from 05 to 07. Uncle Bobby has 2 here, if you can believe it. 78, 79 with Team Penske. Ryan Hunter-Ray, the late Justin Wilson, Will Power, Rossi, and Rick Mears. Yes, Rick even has 1 win here. They are all your wins leaders here in IndyCar history at the Glen. Allenser Jr. has 3 wins here in IROC competition when that series visited here in the mid-'80s and early '90s. So overall, a track has been very kind to the IndyCar community, and in terms of seeing some pretty decent races here. And that was pretty cool to see Justin Wilson get that win for Dale Coyne back. That was Dale Coyne's first win in 25 years in IndyCar racing. So historically important track for IndyCar. Hopefully we can see it back one of these days, if it's not for NASCAR getting in the way. Anyways, that is me being bitter. Let's get today's starting lineup in here from the Glen for 35 laps tonight. And we're just setting some things up. Here we go. See, when you have to do all the production by yourself, it slows things down a little bit.
Just a bunch of dead weight, Gary.
Yeah,
sorry.
I know. I know. Let's get the times on there for our drivers, shall we? There we go. Kevin Burrell on the pole with a 121.8. Nathan Moore, who's 3rd in points. We will show the points during the pace lap here. We get a full pace lap here. 122 flat. Berteau 122.1, who was on the pole for much of qualifications. Blocker 122.4. Nick Sudik back in row 3, right next to him, PK. Back in row 4, Robert Malechka and Fluginger with a 122.8. Brashear and Taylor back on row 5. Further on, there is Miller with the 123 run right next to Rashad Craig in row 6. Hayward and Ahmad in row 7. Captain Kirk and Hollenball back in row 8. Musselman, yes, you can't have an IndyCar race without an AJ in the lineup in row 9 with Matthews. Edwards and Hubrex back on row 10. King and Hinger on row 11. And hopefully I'm saying this, Antone Kino? Am I saying that right?
I was going to go with Antonecco.
Antonecco. We'll go with that. We'll go with your tongue. It seems to be better at the foreign names than me. Antonecco will be coming in on row 12 with the 124.4, and we are underway.
Go under pacing. I think eventually we'll get the pit crew members out on the starting grid with the starters to start the Indy cars prior to each of the races.
Once these graphics cards kind of catch up, well, actually, once the software code catches up to these graphic cards, let's put it that way, I think we could. The sky's the limit about what you can actually see. But my understanding, these new 50 series NVIDIA cards that just came out are quite something. And as someone that just upgraded to the 40 series. Mine's already obsolete, I guess. Here are the Open Series points coming into today's race. Blocker, your leader. Burrell, Moore, P2 and 3. Taylor, Berteau, 4th and 5th. Sam Alexander, Logan Edwards, Karasala, Hayward, and Newsom, your top 10. Hollenball, Zier, Malechka, Connell, AJ, Uncle Rob, Cool, Hartzell, Sudik, and Miller, your top 20. More than halfway through the season. Still lots of racing left to go, ovals and road courses alike.
And the points are close at the front. If you're within 200 points of any of your competitors, the drop weeks can really come into play, and you can really make up a lot of ground here in the last half of the season.
If you enjoyed P1's coverage of the iRacing IndyCar Oval Series Monday night, not the Oval Series, the Open Series. That's what this is. Old habits are hard to break for me. If you're enjoying the coverage of the iRacing IndyCar Open Series Tuesday, Monday night top split, and you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And if you're unable to donate to the broadcast, we really would like your subscription and your likes. But if you are able to donate, the link to our GoFundMe is in the description, and we would appreciate your donations. We do this for free on behalf of the community, and we're glad that everybody gets a chance to enjoy it.
I'm going to enjoy this race, that's for sure. This track is absolutely phenomenal. You'll see a lot of two-wide racing and a lot of big moves down this long, long backstretch after the S's. So Burrell's getting ready to take the green. Take us away, Gary.
And around the final corner here on this configuration, turning the field over to Kevin Burrell, getting the green flag. We are underway here at the Glen for 35 laps. Monday night top split going in the one. Look at Blocker making a run to the inside.
Yeah, he thought about three wide for just about 1 second. A couple drivers going wide in the back. Shady Ahmad was well off the racing surface. Took the 1X there just to avoid incidents.
And we have a car missing a front wing. I think might be Antonico, actually.
It is indeed.
Burrell breaking away. It is Burrell, Moore, Brito, Blocker, Kraus, Malechka now getting around into the boot area, getting around Taylor and Brashear.
Matt Taylor putting a move on King Robert III. He'll have the inside line here, coming into the heel.
The heel of the boot. Hollenball in the OEM sponsor, OMF sponsored car, throwing it to the inside, getting the position there. Former Elite Racing League champion. Meanwhile, up front, coming to the end of lap one, Burrell pulling out to a sizable lead on those alternate tires. In fact, the alternate tires in the minority right now, Clindy. The only drivers on the alternate tires you see right there on your on the timing tree. It is Burrell, it is Matt Taylor, and it's Hollenball. Those are the only three cars on the red tires right now. Everyone else are on the prime. And we got a battle for second brewing here between Brito and Moore into what would have been the bus stop.
Owens are covering it today, no bus stop, which will help the longevity of those alternate red tires. However, these four are all glued in the line. Perhaps they're conserving fuel to go one lap longer on these primary tires to avoid having the alternates as long as possible. I know Phil Kraus is a certified fuel-saving wizard, and I would almost always choose to follow his lead. He seems to always be on the best strategy.
Most people follow his lead because he's in front of them. Well, we got a bit of a train from Moore on back as Burrell is broken out to a, we'll get the intervals here. There you go, 3.7 second lead here. And he wants to put down every fast lap possible to put as much of a delta between himself and these, the rest of this hungry pack when these prime tires come up to prime temperature and prime use. Not sure when that trade-off is going to be. And there was Burrell, purple lap, so that's exactly what he wants to do, a 1:24.3. You do see the tree lighting up when the people are, the drivers are on push to pass. They do have 200 seconds, which is an awful lot for an open race here. I have seen some people on the forums and in the Discord server say that maybe it should receive a little less than 200 seconds in an open race, since open's not full distance.
Well, it's better than sprint. In sprint, you get the same 200 seconds and maybe a third the number of laps. I think Kraus is missing a wing.
Kraus almost into the back of Blocker, and I think he might have wing damage. Let's pop on with Kraus. I cannot see.
iRacing has forgiven him.
That is a new phrase that has been invented by, and here's a battle for third with Moore and Blocker. New phrase invented by Luis Gonzalez Nunez, where he said that iRacing forgave a driver when their wings snap back into place. And I was like, that is a very proper term, and I think we could continue to use that. So the racing gods forgive PK for getting in the back of Blocker and renew his car to a new state.
Jesper, I see you checking in chat. Looks like Rashad Craig was a part of that lap 1 melee in turn 1. He came into pit to get a new wing and is just off cycle from the rest of the time.
Now Brito starting to pull away a little bit from his battle with the guys behind him. It is Moore in third, Blocker fourth, Kraus fifth, Sudik sixth, Matt Taylor seventh, Malechka 8th. Hollenball works his way up to 9th, and Brashear in 10th.
Hollenball using the alternate tires here to go by Malechka, using the red sidewalls to go by the red side pod of King Robert.
I think King Robert probably knew that. Just said, you know what, I'm going to let him go. Right in front of him, though, is another red tire runner, as Taylor is trying to get around Sadiq. Sadiq not making things easy, and in the process, Sadiq's teammate now sneaking up into the battle. Hollenball right behind him. So in the middle of an IIAR sandwich. Oh, Sadiq a little squirrely there, coming up to the heel of the boot.
And Taylor followed him. Hollenball's going to look to get 2 for the price of 1 here in the same set of corners. Overcooks a little bit into the heel, and he's going to get back onto the main part of the circuit here with this dastardly hard left-hander. There's a huge elevation change. You have to be very, very careful getting back up to full throttle, which will carry you through these last 2 corners.
Yeah, the old scan of this track, these cars got very light at the top of the hill up there, and the back end often would swap ends very easily under heavy acceleration. Not so much with the new scan, but it's always prevalent in the back of everyone's head when they get to that point of the racetrack. You got to be a little careful. Burrell back on push to pass. He has himself now a 6-second lead over Brito. Brito, Moore, Blocker, Kraus, your top 5. That has not changed much, but Sudik and Hollenball now in a battle for 6th and 7th, the 2 teammates. Remember, guys, remember rule 1 of racing your teammates: thou shalt not wreck your teammate.
Rule 2 of racing your teammate.
See rule 1. Yes. Let's get the driver inputs there, show you the rest of the field, give you the split, see everybody further on down, watching the battle between Hayward, Miller, and Van Kirk. Walker around Moore in the toe.
Exactly. That puts Moore in the toe of Phil Kraus. So I'm not certain if these drivers are saving fuel. Being behind another fast competitor is the advantageous place to be, but I'm not certain if Moore's going to be able to hold on to the coattails here of the pro with the flow, Phil Kraus.
And now we show you gaps. It is 6 seconds from Brito up to Burrell. The general marching away. Blocker, 1.6 seconds now to Brito. He's just out of that draft window too, but if there's, again, this is open setup, so not so much fixed setup driven here. If that open setup of his is
Trouble on the front
good.
stretch. A 5-car pileup on the front stretch, Gary. Looks like it started with Matt Taylor.
Taylor, and we didn't see what happened. Everyone immediately towed. Let's see what happened. Oh, wow. Coming off the corner, we got Miss Excitement into it, Alexander Van Kirk into it.
It looks like Taylor got hit in the rear by Malechka on exit.
Ooh, and Malechka, I think, lost a wing, a front wing at least. That's a big wreck. That's involving a lot of the front half of the field. Under any other circumstances, this brings the field under caution. That really now reduces the field size from 23 down to, I believe now, about 16 left running.
Yeah, everyone behind Craig has fallen victim to that front stretch pileup.
And that's unfortunate for Matt, who's fourth place in the championship. So this is going to be one of those races that he'll want to try to audit out if he can find another high strength of field later in the race. Meanwhile, up front, Burrell on push to pass. He has 151 seconds remaining of that. Plenty of push to pass left for this race. 7 of 35. As he is currently outpacing Berteau by 6.6 seconds. There is Alan Berteau in the all-white car. Right behind him, Phil Kraus running him down. Kraus getting a round blocker, move Kraus up to third. So close in the championship for that butt kicker Indy Pro Series. We'll be rooting for him next season when that kicks off later next fall. Blocker in fourth. Nathan Moore settling into fifth, Sudik in sixth, Hollenbaugh in seventh. They've maintained their station for quite a while. Matthews, Isabel P. Matthews, up 10 spots to eighth, getting around that melee coming to the start-finish line a couple laps ago. They are now in eighth. AJ Musselman, ninth. And Alex Marsh King, the B license meister in the lineup, he is now in your top 10.
Up 9 spots. It's a hard day's work on Monday night. Get out of the office, clock out, and clock right back in and get to work. Way to go, Alex.
With a B license, no less. Nice job. I mean, right now he's in front of a guy that has a pro license. Robert back there might have a damaged front wing, but he's now on a kind of a strategy of his own at the moment, as he is about 15 seconds behind King, and he did come to pit road for the stop and repair. Yeah,
he and Shady Ahmad and Caleb Brashear all came in on the same lap to repair damage and get new tires.
Rashad Craig benefiting from that a little bit. He was involved in that first turn, first lap melee, and he is now back up to 12th, recovering exactly from where he started from. And a battle for position right behind him is Antonico, who looks like it might be a teammate to Alex Marsh King. So we got 2 team cars here involved in today's top split.
Always good to see newcomers do well. Hopefully they'll discover the stream too, and we'll get them in the P1 broadcasting booth for a podium interview one of these days.
Side by side out of the S's down the backstretch. Antonico around Craig before we get to the site formerly known as the bus stop, into the carousel. And down the chute into the boot. And now we got Shady Ahmad right behind Craig with slightly fresher prime alternate tire, and he gets right on by. And the flat black Mobil 1 livery with the shiny gold foil. Very nice.
I love any scheme that shines in the sunlight. Usually they look better under the lights.
And now we're taking a look at pit road to see what we got. We got on pit road, Caleb Brashear is showing out now. Logan Edwards out. Fluginger currently showing retired. Matt Taylor retired. Alexander Miller on pit road showing out. Mrs. Siteman, Olivia Hayward is also out in 20th. Thomas Van Kirk 21st. Hubrix, who I thought avoided that incident, must have got caught in another one. He is now in 22nd, and David Inger is in 23rd. Back up front to our leader by 6.4 seconds is Burrell, starting to lose a little bit of that buffer that he had on Berteau. Berteau going to be on those harder tires, but Berteau under attack now by PK.
Yeah, the crossover has just about happened. These cars on the primary tires are now putting down lap times equal to or better than Kevin Burrell. That was the first lap I've seen Alan Berteau go faster than Burrell for the whole lap. He, Kraus, and Blocker all put down mid or high 25s, and Burrell was just under a 26, about 0.2 of a second slower. But he's got all of the life out of those red tires. He just needs to hold on to this lead until he can get in his stop, and hopefully he's built a big enough of a deficit that these three can't catch him on the second half of this race.
King around Hollenball. Hollenball on pit road scheduled stop, I believe. Hollenball switching from the alternates to the primes, to the rules and regulations, so he doesn't need to change compounds anymore after this if he doesn't want to. Hollenball goes back to 10th.
Save a little bit of fuel, Gary.
Yeah, he might have to.
My calculations put you at about 20 laps if you're going full push in map 1. He might need to find a drafting or a tango partner just to get around.
Well, the nearest tango partner is Robert Malechka. Down into the chute for both those drivers as they enter the boot portion of this course. I tell you what, I don't care what the stock car people say. I think the stock car drivers should use the boot. But I think the boot is a historically important portion of this race course.
So what if you use the boot as like a joker, where normally you run the boot, but like 2 or 3 times a race you can just cut the boot without penalty? Do you think that would?
That would definitely, that would 100% be a NASCAR gimmick. Not for sure with NASCAR gimmick. If they wanted to do something like that, they could go right ahead and do that. I don't want them to ever see.
Phelps is listening. I'll take my check whenever. So.
I don't want them to ever see them do that if IndyCar comes back here. Malechka now creeping up on Hollenball. Now Malechka has the slightly warmer and ready to go tires in prime time. He's 7 laps into his stint, whereas Hollenball is, Malechka's only 4 laps into his stint. Hollenball only 1. Here is a shot down the backstretch in the outside, going into the carousel. Robert Malechka up to 10th. Getting back up front, battle between Kraus and Blocker is one of the other close battles on the racetrack, as Blocker and Kraus continue to keep pace with Brutteau.
Kraus is going to have a good run here through the S's and onto the backstretch. Here we'll be able to tell if he's actually saving fuel or if he's been actually at a pace disadvantage to Brutteau. If he wants to pass him, now it's going to be very trivial to do so.
You know what? Kraus just maintaining pace. Not even on the push to pass. He just, I got there. I'm going to use you to knock a hole in the wind, and I'm going to stick right behind you.
You break the air, I'm not going to mess up my hair. I'll stick right behind you, right there.
So, holding composure very well, knowing that the Pro Series runner-up right behind him. I mean, if it's me in that car, I hear da-dun, 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 da-dun behind me with that John Williams Jaws theme.
And for me, that'd be my heart beating through my chest. I'd be trying to swipe the sweat off my forehead and find spaghetti in my pockets. All sorts of nervous energy.
It's like those poor rebel pilots going down the trench. Give me room, he's on me.
From behind, I can't shake him.
Loosen up. Kaboom, yep. But Brutteau doing a good job maintaining focus on hitting his marks, getting into turn 1, getting off onto the runoff area. Not as bad as the stock car drivers abuse that area. Up through the S's.
You can only do it 17 times before you get DQ'd, so.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Honestly, I think that's a bit of a bogus rule. I think you should be able to use it every lap. It's not illegal for any racing series that comes here. iRacing, please address it. But Brutteau is making headway into the lead that Burrell had. It's down to 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Half a second that he knocked off last lap.
So now we wonder, when does Berteau come to pit road? The top 9 have not stopped. Alex King has stopped on lap 1. He might have started from the pits. Not sure on that. But he is a 9th spot. The next driver that has any significant running time is Robert Molechka, who stopped on lap 7 with damage.
Yeah, I'd assume that all these drivers that have not yet pit are going to at least try to make it to 16. So that'd be your Burrell and your Hollabaugh. Or Hollabaugh has pit as well.
Oh, he's done, yep.
Yep. Hollabaugh will need help to make the finish, but I think Burrell's going to try to at least go to 16 or 17, so that way he can take the primary tires all the way to the end without having to pit again. That lap almost a whole second faster for Berteau. Burrell's going to have company here in just a handful of laps.
Burrell on push to pass. And frankly, I mean, he has so much push to pass, he could use it just about every lap. Now, it is going to impact the way your car is going to use fuel. And one of the things we can do on the overlay is tell you how much push to pass remains. And there you see Burrell, 79 seconds remaining. Remember, he started with 200. Berteau with 194, pretty much a full complement. Kraus 160, Blocker 154. Moore hasn't even touched the button yet. He's at a full 200.
Yeah, I don't need to. I'm just fast. Nathan Moore showing off. 5th place. No push to pass used.
3rd in the championship standings. There is Burrell just coming out of the boot. There you see the next 3 combatants coming out of the boot now into the picture. And these 3 have really pulled away from Moore. Moore is about another 5 seconds behind, 9 seconds behind the leader. Sudik right behind him. Musselman a distant 12 seconds behind Sudik. He's on push to pass right now.
Yeah, Sudik's almost in the position where he'll be able to draft up and pass Moore here.
Here we go.
He'll be right in contact.
PK said he's had enough going to the inside, getting ready to set up the pass into the carousel. PK to P2.
Something tells me that number 2 car is not done for the day. I think we're going to have quite the race here in the closing stages between him and Burrell.
So far, Burrell's the only driver to this point who set purple laps, I believe. Ooh, a little bit of squirrel coming there through the toe on Kraus. Kraus keeps her straight, pulling away now into the heel. A lot of runoff there in the heel now these drivers can use. And the before in the heel, there was not a lot of runoff there. Now up the hill, back onto the main portion of the road course. Squirrely again under acceleration for Kraus. Might have those rear tires warmed up a little bit.
Something Phil Kraus shared with me over the community Discord is that he's not actually squirrely. He's just actually engaging all 4 tires into the turn. It might look like he's drifting, but the way he attacks his car, he just engages all 4 tires in every corner. And you can see that by how much yaw is in the car every time he takes a turn. I have no idea how he gets the car to turn that way. I have to learn how to do it, but that's how he is so fast.
Well, if you need any driver's lessons, that's one guy to ask. If you need a short-term loan, we know you got a lot of money from the Pro Series. You can probably ask him as well for one of those as well. Short-term, high interest.
I'm highly interested in being as fast as Phil Kraus is on road
courses. It's like the old, Michael Jordan commercial, like Mike, I want to be like Mike. Like Phil, I want to be like Phil. Hollenball passing Alex Marsh King on pit road. Scheduled stop for King. Down and away. He should be done. Might have to save a little bit. We'll see. He's on the alternate tires. We'll see now if Burrell makes that turn down pit road. We think it's time. He is his lead has evaporated now to 2 seconds, 2.4. He's staying out.
One more lap.
Berteau, pit road, scheduled stop.
So Berteau's going to have to go almost 20 whole laps on the red tire.
Sudik, is lighting them up coming to pit road. Scheduled stop for Nick.
We've seen how badly they've fallen off here for Burrell, and he's only done 16. He's working his 17th lap. I would be shocked if Burrell stays out another lap.
So to get to the halfway, he needs to complete this lap and make it a one-stopper, and that might be what he's aiming for, but in the process, watch that interval ticking down, ticking down, ticking down. Look at 2.4, 2.3, 2.2. Now we're in braking zone, so that's going to ebb and flow. But remember, it was at 6 seconds, no more than 10 laps ago. AJ Musselman, scheduled stop coming off of pit road. He is done with his pit stops for today. He is on to the prime tire.
I think you're going to be able to chalk this up as mission accomplished for the general. He didn't let Phil Kraus get into draft range while on the reds if he comes to pit road this time by.
This is exactly, we thought he would. It's 17 and a half to go with a one-stopper here, and he made it. So now it's time for Kraus to put down the big money laps. As look at that wide exit off of one. He's got to put the foot into it, and he's on push to pass. He's going to want to make this lap count and try to overcut our leader on pit road with a big lap here. Can Phil Kraus do it? Right behind him, Adam Blocker.
Not only will he get the big laps now with the light fuel tank, but he'll also be putting on the red tires, the alternate tires, which are faster for the first 6 or so laps. And the primary tires.
And I'll have a slightly lighter tank, too. He won't have a full fill. No fill for Phil. No full fill for Phil.
But he will fulfill his objective of taking the race lead if all things go well for him.
He's going to go back and listen to this and roll his eyes.
You guys are a bunch of morons.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what he's going to say. Hey, man, we're the semi-pros here. We're not the professionals.
Blocker doing a really good job just being Phil Kraus's shadow.
And it's being a shadow right to pit road and sneaks up on him a little bit there in the braking zone for the cone. Your 2 leaders now on pit road. Does Nathan Moore make the turn? Yes, he does. Nathan Moore on pit road. So now, go ahead.
Well, this is where we're going to see if either of them choose to go very light on the tank deliberately for a faster pit stop.
Isabel Matthews coming to pit road in 4th, so that should turn the race lead back over to Burrell. The general marches right on by, and there we see Kraus and Blocker coming off of pit road. Remember, that's a very dangerous pit out. Patro gets around. Oh, yes, he does. Patro gets around Blocker. Blocker did not want that.
Now, so long as Bertreau has the draft of Phil Kraus, Blocker won't be too inconvenienced.
Here
but Phil Kraus is making a movement on Burrell.
Down the backstretch for the outright lead, going into the carousel, hitting those bumps from the inner loop there, now into the boot. Burrell getting a little dirty air, pushing up in the corner, now falling under attack of Berteau. 1, 2, 3, 4, all in your picture. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th for the lead. Meanwhile, back in 5th, and hopefully can get a smile back, is Nick Sudik, who's had a rough couple of weeks in these open races. I've been kind of joking with him. He's been going to end up like Shawn Michaels in the WWE, losing his smile. Get a good top 5 today. You get your smile back, buddy. Blocker, big run out of the corner on Boutreau. Let's see if he can get there. Let's ride with the Dark Knights as he heads down the main straight over the start-finish line into the braking zone for turn 1. Nice exit for him. Didn't go nearly as wide as Boutreau. into the S's, up the hill, in the draft. Is he going to be on? Push to pass. There he is. That's the green lighting up on his dash. To the inside. And now he's going to get the draft from Burrell.
Yeah, Burrell's just following Kraus, right? So, Bertrand the big loser there just because the leaders are playing a bit of a game of snake.
Now into the boot portion, downhill. I believe this is the lowest point of the racetrack. Now it's back uphill. Back uphill. Cars get light right here. Now a bit of an acceleration zone. Here's Blocker. Can he set up to the look to the inside, going into the heel? He sends it. And he pulls it off. And now out of the boot. Only one more obstacle remains for Blocker, and that's if he can get the PK, who started the pull away by 1.7 seconds.
Burrell wants Blocker to run as hard as possible to get to fill Kraus's draft, so that way he doesn't have to work so hard until his tires are able to be faster than these alternates. Remember that 6-second gap. I think if Burrell can be within 4 or 5 seconds by the time he starts reeling the leaders back in, he'll be in great shape. A Blocker all over the backstretch, snaking.
That was great stuff.
And that's not what Burrell wants to see. He just wants to see Blocker go as fast as possible.
In a straight line, yeah. Sometimes when you do that snake move, you do scrub off speed unnecessarily. But Blocker's a pro. He knows what he's doing. Burrell, a pro as well. If you're just joining us, this is P1's coverage of the INDYCAR Open Series Monday Night Top Split coming to you from Watkins Glen. We completed 21 of 35 laps. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage and would like to monetarily support us, please find a link to our GoFundMe campaign in the stream description. We realize times are tough, but any donation you make, no matter the amount, is greatly appreciated. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the subscribe button, ring the bell so you don't miss out on the next race, which for me is not just too long from now. It's at 9:30. The former Lionheart crew in the ISRA Open Wheel Series at Motegi tonight. Clindy will be in the lineup. And that will be at 9:30 tonight, 125 laps at Motegi. More open wheel action following the Open Series here at Watkins Glen. But thanks for joining us, everybody who's live with us right now. Appreciate you being here.
Olivia Hayward is telling us in the chat that it's a 17-lap full push fuel stint. So all of these drivers are going to have to save just a tiny amount to get to the finish.
Battle here between Hollandball and Musselman for P9 and P8 on the racetrack. Also sneaking into the picture, I believe, is Isabel Matthews. So 8th, 9th, and 10th, kind of under a blanket at the moment as they are heading down the backstretch. AJ in the draft on the button. It's going to take a peek to the inside in the carousel. Slamming the door is Hollandball.
Hollandball's tires are 7 laps older than Musselman's, so you'll see the fall off here, especially on corner exit.
Okay, OMF sponsorship on the side of that. Very good looking livery right there of Hollandballs. That's the Open Medicine Foundation. Check them out online after the race. A worthy organization for your donations as well. AJ Musselman right behind him. Got his consulting gig on the side there. AJM Consulting. All three on the button. 7th, 8th, and 9th on the button. Trying to bring this battle closer together. Robert Malechka making his final stop.
Blocker has reeled in Kraus. He's now within half a second.
We're on him. And you got to wonder who's using those red tires, those alternate tires more. Is it PK? Is it Blocker running him down? Is it both of those guys trying to run away from Burrell, and Burrell is just sucking him into a little bit of a trap, saying, well, I'm going to... Oh! That
Kraus
was contact by Kraus on the corner there of turn 11. Smacks the wall. Let's see how that impacts going into this next lap. Blocker reeling him in, 0.4 back. Burrell 1.4 back in the draft envelope. And probably going to be on push to pass this time by if he has some button pushes left. He has 49 seconds left. No, he's not. He's saving them, but he's reeling them in without it. Now 1.1 down the backstretch. Bruteau is on the button momentarily. There we see Nick Sudik sneaking into the picture. Ask Nick now holding on to that 5th spot over Nathan Moore. We got to get Nick back into the booth sometime now.
Yeah, what's he doing for the ISRA race? You want to reel him on in for that so he can cheer me on like I cheer? Oh, Kraus super sideways.
Yeah, there he is.
Side damage
little bit
definitely
of that,
affecting him.
A little bit of that drift you were talking about. And now Blocker is there. Burrell will be there momentarily. PK super wide on exit.
Yeah, the car is not doing what he wants it to
power
do.
slide again.
Out of control again. And every time he does this, he's putting more and more heat into those tires, which are super soft. He's just going to get slower and slower the more he tries here.
And how much does Blocker push him? Does Blocker push him hard? Or does Blocker wait for him to make a mistake? Or does he just wait till he uses up those tires? I mean, if there are, as the old wrestling nickname for Triple H back in the day in the WWE was the cerebral assassin. If there are cerebral drivers in this sport of e-racing, e-sim sports here on iRacing, you can't get much more cerebral than first, second, and third with these drivers.
Robert Malechka has rear-ended yet another car. He's now into Alex King.
Uh-oh.
He's lost the front wing again.
Oh, Robert, not one of those days you want to forget, but he is a no-winged angel coming to pit road. He's going to have to get that replaced. Coming to pit road with a wounded Dallara IR18. He will get that taken care of and probably topped off with a fresh set of tires. But that is probably going to cost him another position, possibly here to Rashad Craig. Yeah, Rashad Craig going to pick up another spot. Right with him is Shady Ahmed.
Kevin Burrell is right behind Adam Blocker. And if I'm to believe that Blocker has to save a little bit of fuel,
if he's not,
the wall again.
I'll tell you what, he needs to take private label off the side of that car and find a demolition company to be his sponsor, because he is trying to tear down that turn 11 wall. And there's Kraus now. It is now a 3-car battle. Kraus, Blocker, Burrell. And if Kraus isn't some degree of damaged, I would be surprised.
He definitely has left side pod damage.
He's going to the inside to the fend, and that's about the only thing he can do, as Blocker's going to cruise on the outside with a non-wounded car into the carousel, and a new leader put Adam Blocker to the front. Now Burrell is going to smell blood in the water and want to pounce here on PK with the damaged car.
And the laps are clicking down. We're going to have 10 to go at the line. To note, Alan Bertrot did choose to surrender the fuel economy game and come in to top off and put on fresh Firestones for his final stint.
We'll get you gaps between positions to kind of show you where the tight races are on the racetrack. But right now, not much more is tight than what you're seeing here for the lead. We'll go back really, really quick to Robert Malechka getting a pass here on Shady Ahmed. That is for back up to 10th for Robert, who is probably seeing a little red in the red car with red tires and light tanks. I will not be surprised to see a purple lap get clocked in by this guy here in the closing stages of this race. Back up front, coming out of corner number 1. Your top 3, 1, 2, 3. Blocker, Kraus, Burrell. Burrell waiting for those red tires, the 2 leaders in front of him, to kind of give the old crossover so he can get the run. He's there.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do anything right now. He can wait until 2 or 3 laps to go to really push the issue, especially because he has to save an extra lap of fuel over these guys. So I think Burrell is just on wait and see. If Phil Kraus falls off the pace at all, I wouldn't be surprised to see him dispatch Kraus and just follow right behind Blocker until 2 or 3 to go. Probably sit on that last little bit of push to pass until he really needs to.
At 49 seconds for Burrell, 106 for Blocker, 77 for Kraus, 133 for Moore, who's moved up to 4th. Brutteau gives up a higher position in the top 5, back to 5th, has 102 seconds left of push to pass. AJ Musselman up to 6th spot. Matthews up to 7th. Sudik now 8th, who came in for his final stop. Hollenball 9th, Malechka 10th. Your biggest gainer of the day, 2 of them, Musselman and Matthews, each up 11 spots. Pretty impressive. Leaders on push to pass as we are speaking. Burrell following suit just in the draft, holding on to what he has left. 8 to go down the backstretch. Past the Express because there's no local bus stop today. To the outside. Oh. Still riding with Burrell over his shoulder. Not a good zone here to pass here in the toe. Now accelerating uphill to the heel. There is a decent zone here at the end of the heel if he's close enough. He's not there. Fair runoff here. They can get a good acceleration uphill, up in the 9, where they rejoin the traditional cup course, or the cup course. Here is 10. Blocker wide there at 10 into 11. Coming to 7 to go. Down the main straight. Cresting the hill, now downhill in the 1.
Blocker got through 1 perfectly. Kraus did not. Burrell hoping that Kraus uses the button here to get him closer to Blocker.
Burrell not using the button, but he's in the draft. See Kraus in a defensive position to the inside. There's not going to be enough time or speed to get the shot on the outside. He shows his nose anyways. Currently 15 cars still running. Started with 23, couple large incidents early in the race. Kind of limited down this field, but so far a pretty good race overall. For some people, the drive to survive tactic is working pretty well. Others, the attack tactic, which we see up front with Blocker, Kraus, and Burrell, driving us to what will be a pretty exciting finish here in the closing stages. Once again, if you're just joining us, this is P1's coverage of round 8 of 12 of the INDYCAR Open Series. Monday Night Top Split coming to you from Watkins Glen, where Adam Blocker is your leader. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. And hey, also, don't forget your commentary team by sending in a donation via our GoFundMe campaign. The link is in the description. We certainly would appreciate it. Hang on later tonight for more action at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The ex Lionheart guys with the open wheelers for the ISRA Open Wheel Series at Motegi at 9:30. Burrell sending it on the outside. He's going to get a little bit of draft from Blocker, who might actually been helping a little bit there, PK. Temin to inside. PK slams the door. 6 to go.
It's so hard for Kevin Burrell. These two in front of him are not necessarily, I mean, they are teammates, right? Power Slide and Private Label are
it is as the saying goes, hyper slide, yes.
Burrell dogging Kraus right on his rear attenuator. That's when you have to trust your opponents, trust their competitive integrity, trust their talent, hope they don't make a mistake, and you keep your car in one piece.
Push to pass, 91 seconds for Blocker. Kraus, 63.49 for Burrell, who has yet to push the button since he's got to that 49 limit very early in this race. Blocker, Kraus on the button. And again, it's possible that Burrell cannot use the button. He might be that close on fuel.
I don't know. He's been so close behind Kraus and Blocker for this entire run. I have a hard time imagining that he hasn't hit his fuel number. Appreciate everyone who voted in the Who Will Win poll. We had 22 votes on that. Thanks to LGN for setting that up for you all. A little bit of chat interactivity.
LGN, P1's hype man. He'll be with me on the action later tonight at 9:30 in the ISRA Open Wheel Series. Big run. Kevin Burrell going to take a look to the inside, going into the heel of the boot. Now uphill, out of the heel. I guess into the shin, I guess. He's right there. And a big, another slide by PK. Can Burrell get the position and run he wants now? Is he going to, oh, almost into the wall again for Kraus.
All right, Burrell's got to start making moves.
I think he's going to get a big run here as PK goes wide. He's going to sneak to the inside in the snake, or in the S's, as they try to snake a little bit through the S's. Side by side, they're all on the button.
Blocker gives the draft again to Kraus. Two cars are faster than one, but Burrell will have the preferred line.
Oh, a little bit of a fade. A little bit of a fade. Little Pruitt fade action going on in the backstretch going into the carousel, but Burrell gets the pass. PK did not make it easy, and now that cost about 10 seconds of push to pass for Burrell. Burrell now down to 31, more than 10 seconds actually. It went from 49 to 31. Now he needs to try to run down, 4 to go. Blocker, PK starts to fall back a little bit. That fourth car you see in the picture is Caleb Brashear in 16th spot, not in the running there, but probably has the next best seat in the house right there.
All-time classic here shaping up at Watkins Glen. You've got the Dark Knight versus the General. They're going to barrel down into turn one. Both have their right sides on the rumble strips. Now their lefts. They're approaching the S's. Let's see if Burrell uses push to pass this lap.
And let's give a shout out to Caleb, who's right behind this battle. He just went purple.
That's what happens when you got fast guys in front of you. You can draft off.
Get a little motivation. Here's the snake down the backstretch. But look, Burrell just holds his line after a while. He's like, no, I'm not going to scrub off my speed. Into the carousel, into the chute. He's going to have a run on him here. He's going to get closer, now within 2. Now within a car length. Pulling away from Kraus. Pulling away from Kraus by 9.
9/10 of a second, not 9 whole seconds.
Well, yeah, I'm going by 9 for short. Spotter phrasing, sorry. Here we go, right there on the attenuator.
Look for Burrell to make a move here out of the last corner on the front stretch to attack in turn 1. Great exit.
Burrell in the accelerator much sooner than Blocker to the outside, down the main straight, in the one, watching out the backside of Blocker's car into turn 1, 2 to go. Blocker on, push the pass, but Burrell in the draft. Up through the S's.
Let's see how aggressive Blocker is here on the backstretch. He's been weaving like a madman.
Burrell getting a little bit of a draft. He's going to fade to the outside. Blocker not giving him a lot of room. They are checking each other.
Blocker was clear by the slimmest of margins. Burrell being very disciplined, setting up his exits, putting Blocker under pressure at every single opportunity. He goes inside the main contact!
And he does a crossover, swing over move, gets the position, might have been a little contact there, move Burrell up to the lead in the heel when you don't see, it's actually in the toe where you don't see a lot of passing, and now it looks like Blocker under direct attack of Kraus. Blocker might be actually wounded now, we're not sure, but Kraus is right there.
Burrell with a little bit of a bump and run to take the white flag with a huge lead over the Hyperslide cars.
I think there's a problem with Blocker's car. And I'm not sure if Kraus is just going to let things sit and settle. Do we see some damage on Blocker's car? White flag in the air. One more circuit to go here at Watkins Glen for this week's Monday night Indy Open Series top splits. Down the back straight tonight was a pretty decent strength of field, a 38.66.
With 3 heavyweights here at the front.
Side by side, Kraus and Blocker. Again, I'm not sure how much racing's going on right there. We might have 2 damaged cars as Burrell continues to pull away by now 2 seconds. Burrell just needs to get through these next couple of corners, and this race is his to lose at the moment. Coming up and coming out of the out of the boot section for the last time. Up the hill into 9. Back onto the Cup circuit. 2 turns to go, and this is going to be a dub for Kevin Burrell and a big helping for him. That's going to help him in this championship. Is currently second, needing to run down Adam Blocker, but taking the checkered flag today and getting the big dub is the general Kevin Burrell, your winner at Watkins Glen.
Wasn't quite wire to wire, but he took the pole and the victory. Everything went according to plan. He did not surrender too much time on the end of the stint with the first set of red tires. Blocker stopping right in front of Burrell. Apparently not happy on the cooldown lap.
All right, let's get in the results for today. And there we go. Kevin Burrell, the winner. Adam Blocker, second. Phil Kraus, PK, third. Nathan Moore. It should not go without saying that Nathan was the #1 car in today's split, meaning that he had the highest I rating. He comes home fourth, so hopefully it's a good day for him points-wise, and also I rating wise. Nick Sudik, hopefully the smile returns to Nick. Comes home fifth, and hopefully that's a big payday for him. Isabel Matthews was the 19 ranked car coming into today's race, finishes 6th. Isabel up 12 spots, your second biggest gainer, actually tied for the most gaining positions of the day. Comes home 6th for Isabel. Great day. Berteau, not the finish he was looking for, but a good performance, I say, nevertheless. He was at those leaders all day today. He finishes 7th. AJ comes home 8th. AJ improved 9 spots to bring it into a top 10 here. Hollenball in 9th, and Malechka with a bit of an adventuresome day that he, more adventuresome than he really wanted, comes home in 10th. The next guy that we want to talk about there is Nicholas Antonico. Antonico also finished 12 spots better than where he started, comes home 11th. He was the last ranked car into this split, so hopefully that's a good payday for him. Rashad Craig recovers from that turn 1 incident to come home 12th. Alex Marsh King with that B license comes home with the top 15 and 13th. Shady Ahmed 14th. Caleb Brashear with the purple lap in the closing stages there with a lot of pace in 15th. Logan Edwards 16th. Fluginger in 17th. Matt Taylor unfortunately caught up in a melee there coming off of turn 11 very early in the race on lap, at 18th spot. Alexander Miller involved in that as well. 19th, Olivia Hayward missed excitement. Not much excitement for her tonight, at least an early out in 20th. Also involved in that incident coming off turn 11.
Perhaps too much excitement.
Too much excitement. There is such a thing as too much excitement. I can account for that. Thomas Van Kirk, 21st. Rob Hubecks, 22nd in the Lego car. And David Inger in 23rd. That is your 23-car field from the GLEN here tonight. And let's get the replays lined up here, and we'll get into the replay, or we'll get into the interview room. See what everyone had to think here.
Yeah, I've got Blocker and Burrell, but no Krause. Still not enough money in the funds to pay the pro appearance for Phil Krause. Position finishers in the INDYCAR Series require a hefty media appearance fee, excuse me. So do what we can to get him.
Wait a minute, he got paid more than I have. He's got more money in that one series than I have in my entire broadcasting career. I think
now he's used to it, Gary. He needs it every time.
He's big money PK now. Okay. All right. And let's get into the interview room and see who we can talk to.
So I've got Blocker. I can bring him up when you're ready.
Go ahead and bring him on in, and we will talk to him about the elephant in the room here. Adam Blocker, thanks for joining us. Good to have you here on a Monday evening. I guess the elephant in the room is those closing laps. Was there contact, and were you damaged as a result of that contact that caused you to kind of have to give up that lead?
Yeah, I mean, he drove through me, so same thing as what he's done before. So I mean, I was driving in a straight line, I didn't even fade, and he just drove through me. So, it's a pattern. But yeah, it was a fun race to that point. Because I think Phil and I made a mistake in the early couple laps. We kind of screwed around a little bit too much, trying to hit too big of a number with Alan and Nathan ahead of us, and we should have just passed them sooner. Because when we passed them, we picked up a lot of speed, and I think if we hadn't wasted it, 2 seconds doing that, we would have been in good shape. But yeah.
Clinton, you got any questions for him?
We saw chaos up and down this entire field today, and I probably attribute that to the high banks and the proximity here at Watkins Glen. I say that it races more like an oval or 3 ovals in a trench coat than any other road course on the circuit. What do you take into your approach at tracks like this to kind of live in that oval mindset, even though you're turning right more than left?
I mean, I don't know if it was too much of a oval. I mean, the one thing that was kind of ovalish was just, drafting to save fuel, but definitely on the reds, it was not like it was just tricky, because the main thing was on the red stint, you had to manage the tires more than the fuel. And with how little deg we have on the ovals right now, it's not really something I can liken it to, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, it was just tough. Like Phil, I took out like 4 clicks of front wing during the pit stop, which I almost never take out that much, but the session was looser than we thought, and Phil didn't take out that much, and that's why he was like really loose, like almost dying. And I think that's the only reason I was able to beat Phil's, because he was like super loose and basically just didn't have speed on the second stint. So.
Well, we're sorry for the frustrating race, but it's good to have you here and seeing you do so well. Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anyone to say hi to before we let you go this Monday night?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody at Power Slide as always, and almost everyone for making it a fun race. And that's in the end, that's what, at least my goal is just to come out here and have fun. And I prefer not to get in incidents with people, but apparently other people want to race differently. So I mean, if we want to race it that way, we can. But I mean, I'd prefer not to. But yeah, I hope to see y'all next week.
We hear you. Well, thank you very much. We'll see you in a week. Sleeping on it tends to cool things down, but memories always run long in the IndyCar community. So we'll see if this carries over into future races. But good to have you here, and we'll see you in a later race.
Yep, see you then.
Okay, spicy, Kyle.
Yeah, not mincing words. Perhaps next week we'll see more fireworks on track.
Yeah, let's go ahead and bring in Kevin Burrell. Kevin, welcome to Victory Lane, and the win here at Watkins Glen. The elephant in the room, of course, is the battle with Adam. Adam didn't quite cut the heel promo in the interview, but he was not happy. From your point of view, talk about the battle and give your chance to let everyone see from what you saw from your seat.
I mean, I haven't watched the incident between me and him yet, but I mean, just while we're waiting here, he's like telling me, if you want to race that way, we can race that way. I can drive through you every time or whatever. And I don't know, man, I don't like that. All I can say is that he's the benchmark. Him and Phil and those guys are the benchmark for me. Every week, that's what I try and do. Match their pace, beat their pace. Obviously, I have respect for that, and when I'm doing well, and he's defending like 2 seconds a lap down plus, with 2 laps to go after I park it behind him for 10 laps, a second plus a lap faster, like, of course I'm going to try. Of course I'm going to try and pass. Of course I'm not going to try and kill anyone. And it's just frustrating that it's being construed as something that I'm just trying to do, telling me that I have bad racecraft, whatever. I just really don't like that. At the end of the day, I'm doing it for fun, and this experience isn't fun. And if he wants to just drive on his own with no one around him, enjoying all his free wins, that's also fine. I don't need to do this. I have nothing to prove. I have nothing to prove. Not anymore anyway. We had crazy pace today. Probably some of the best I've ever had. And I don't know. I felt good about the race. I thought it was good. I hope it was enjoyable for you guys. I mean, that's all I can say.
We had fun, didn't we, Clinty? Any questions for him?
Well, I'm just so happy you're here, Kevin, because if it wasn't for you, it'd be a power slide tango up at the front, and there wouldn't be any action on track. We really love to see you hitting the bar, hitting the benchmark, and trading blow for blow with Blocker, Kraus, Malechka, them week in and week out. We're very appreciative of the efforts you put in with your Fiercely Forward car to bring the fight to these other established teams, and
we're trying.
It gives us something to talk about every week, and we're very glad that you're here. Hopefully, the incident gets reviewed by whoever is upset by it, and to me, it didn't look malicious. You just made a very ambitious dive to the inside, and there was just a little bit of overlap. When you're cutting. Yeah. When you're cutting things that close, I don't think there's too much to get upset about outside of the moment. So, you didn't kill anyone. Blocker came home and finished second, and hopefully you guys can carry this championship fight on for the rest of the year, and cooler heads will prevail.
I mean, I hope so. I agree. I agree. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, when I have people telling me that they're basically going to retaliate, my motivation to spend hours of my life every week on it goes down, and that's. Maybe that's the goal. I don't know. There's not really a lot I can say. Obviously, I mean, I'm not trying to read too much into anything. I don't know. I'm just trying to do my thing. I started doing this stuff 2, 3, well, I guess almost 4 years ago now. Adam's been doing it for like 10 plus. I am not that good. I agree. I agree. And if that's what he wants to say, like, I agree. I mean, I don't know what to say. That's really all I can do. Thanks obviously to the guys at Fiercely Forward, by the way. The work on the set was awesome, and yeah, I mean, it's good. I was really happy with the pace. I think starting on the primes like they did, when you have the out lap and then you have to drive 18 laps, the fuel save is insane. So it's impressive that they managed to do that. That's why I started on the alts and ran my 17 first instead of the 18. Yeah, I mean, it was good. And yeah, thanks guys, of course, for the broadcast. It's really elevates the series, I think.
Well, spicy night and a lot of action on and off the track. We want to thank you for showing up, first of all, helping with that strong strength of field to get us up for that top split. But what you need to do is just go enjoy, go sleep on it.
Yeah.
Everyone feels better after a little bit night's sleep, and feelings are a little less hurt after a night's sleep and everything. And I always say we don't forget, but we do tend to forgive.
That's the goal. I mean, that's the goal. And yeah, I mean, I woke up at 8 a.m. for this, so who knows? Maybe
that's
I'll
right. Just remind everybody, you're coming in from Japan, so that is an entirely different time zone than where Adam and I are right now in Clindy. So yeah, then we'll let you get a start to your workday. Then that is, but man, congratulations and good to have you here. We look forward to seeing you here when we start the IIS up here at the end of the month.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to IIS. It's a much better time zone for me, so. Yeah, looking forward to that a lot. See you guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, Kevin, the general with the win. And man, one thing we definitely have had here over the last couple of weeks, Clindy, is just a show of emotion. Just, it's just everyone's laid it out there, and it's good. And I don't mind people cutting promos. I mean, I actually kind of encourage that. I don't necessarily want a wrestling mentality, but I do really love wrestling. And the promos bring eyes to the broadcast and butts in the seat, so to speak. So, if this is going to bring more people to watch next week's broadcast because we got a budding rivalry going on, I am all for it. And, if these guys at the end of the day say nothing necessarily too personal over things, let's bring on the battle for the racetrack. But, both these guys, Kevin is the defending IIS champion from last season. He's got the pedigree. We know Adam Blocker has the pedigree. He's won the fixed series multiple times. He's won the open series multiple times. He's won countless races on other broadcasts and also in the Lionheart series. I mean, these guys they both have the skill set, and it's really I guess they should be kind of cherishing this, because I don't think racing gets much better than when you got three real pros up at the front of the field.
Yeah, when you've got the best of the best mixing it up and making the rest look like, well, the rest, you've got to realize that what you're doing is elevating everyone around you. Putting on a show for those at home is just the icing on the cake. And we all need to remember that we all live in glass arrow screens. Every chunk of rubber we throw, it could get thrown right back. So obviously there's always going to be emotion in the moment, and I'm guilty of it. Anyone who's ever strapped in behind one of these virtual machines behind the wheel knows how hot your head can get, but really what that drives me to do is just put my foot down harder, go a little faster, right? So hopefully we see that next Monday for your top split open IndyCar Series race.
Hey, and that is why that this is I don't say this because I've drank the Kool-Aid or anything like that. I mean it with every ounce of my fiber in my body. This is the best car on this service. If you're not driving this car, you're driving something else. You're not driving the best car with the best drivers on this service. It's right here. IndyCar Open Series, IndyCar Fixed Series, IndyCar Oval Series, IIS, and when the Butt Kicker Series starts up later in the fall, the Butt Kicker Series. It doesn't get any better. That's it tonight for everybody. Once again, your podium here from Watkins Glen, a very spicy podium. PK comes in third, Phil Krause. Adam Blocker, the Dark Knight, finishes second, and General Kevin Burrell marches to first place and gets the win here in the top split. Join us again next week for round 9, week 9 of season 1 of 2025 of the INDYCAR Open Series Monday night top split. As Murph returns the call to action from COTA. Coverage begins around 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's 7:00 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, for the correct broadcast time in your area, you can find everything right here at YouTube, youtube.com/@P1 Broadcasting. Now, as you know, these races, we love bringing these races to you, but they're not easy and require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donation, we've been able to bring you INDYCAR Open action nearly sponsor-free. If you share our passion for the sport of INDYCAR and enjoyed our coverage of the INDYCAR Open Series Monday Night Top Split, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our 2025 broadcast fund. We realize times are tough, so any contribution would be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us a part of your Tuesday evenings, or actually our Monday evenings. That's my old script each and every week. And hey, does it get any more spicy than this on a Monday night unless you're watching Raw? No, it doesn't. So now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one. So please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below and let us know your thought of tonight's race. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more of P1's other iRacing programming, including Race 2 of our Monday night doubleheader. It's the ISRA Open Wheel Series, the X Lionheart guys. It'll be myself and LGN calling the action. Clindy will be on the lineup as we go to Motegi. That's at 9:30 p.m. Eastern here in just about an hour from now. So check us out. Track cams for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook or follow them on X and Instagram. The links are in the description. For business inquiries to learn more about P1 and what we do, like us on Facebook, follow us on X and Instagram. You can follow all of our social links on Linktree. You can check them out in the description. So for Clindy, everyone here at P1, I'm Gary Gottsel saying all good night and thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here next week in COTA for the next race of the INDYCAR Open Series Monday Night Top Split on P1. Good night.